Hello, fans and friends. Thank you for joining us. My name is Rhonda McCarty. I am the CEO of Special Olympics Montana. I am speaking to you from our headquarters here in Great Falls. Thank you. Now it's your turn. We want to know who's out there. We want to know who you are and where you're tuning in from. So please feel free to use your chat bars, use your comment bars. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, we would love to get lots of likes and loves. So please feel free to like and love away. It's a joyous day at Special Olympics. We are most grateful today to celebrate Mr. Bob Norbie's illustrious career at Special Olympics Montana. Today we honor our very own Mr. Bob Norbie, who is our very own Special Olympics legend. In fact, if you haven't already noticed, in front of me is a beautiful piece of art that our board of directors commissioned from an artist in Butte named Mike Hamlin. Mike put together this beautiful piece in honor of Bob to make it official that we are announcing Bob as our very own Special Olympics legend, hence the magazine cover with Bob's photo on the front. Bob, congratulations, and by all means, very well deserved. For the moment, let's let this painting serve as symbolism of Bob's presence. Bob is currently watching from afar in the spirit of social distancing and in the spirit of good health for all. But later in the hour, he'll be joining us here on stage. For the time being, let's give Bob some likes and loves. Let's keep that chat bar active. Bob, we hope you can feel the online celebration of your legendary status. So, speaking of applause, I'd be remiss if I didn't take a few minutes to express my sincerest appreciation of Bob. Today's celebration feels momentous, especially momentous to me. It was just a few weeks back, October 1, that Bob returned to work after a full 10-week extended medical leave. I couldn't be more pleased and happy to announce today that Bob is back. Bob is healthy, he is living life, he is spirited, and he's committed to finishing his career strong at Special Olympics. We couldn't be more grateful. Bob will work full-time through the end of 2020. Beginning in January of 2021, Bob will work part-time through June 30th of 2021, when he will officially end his career. As Bob endeavors to finish strong, he will give a final push to building our endowment. We all know Bob, and we know nothing would please Bob more than to build that endowment to $10 million or more. That endowment will serve as an opportunity to fund state programming and local programming well into the future. That's what we are all about. As I mentioned, I described Bob's 27-plus year career as illustrious. Without a doubt, Bob is well known, respected, and admired for his many achievements. Bob, thank you for your lead in helping us to serve more athletes than ever. In appreciation of Bob's leadership, we are serving more athletes than ever. We are serving them in more and varied ways. Bob, we couldn't be more grateful for the foundation you have laid. Finally, I'd like to express my heartfelt appreciation to Bob. I'd like to thank Bob for his hard work, his guidance, and his friendship. It's truly been an honor to walk alongside you, Bob. Now, let's move on, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you today's host of the program. I'd like to welcome to the stage Special Olympics Montana Board Chair and CEO of Anderson-Vermillion, Mr. Rick Reisig. Come on in, Rick.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. I'm glad to be here.
You
It's an
are
exciting
welcome.
day.
We are thrilled that you're here. Thank you for joining us.
You know, it's a bittersweet day, and yet a day of appreciation for Bob. Of course, bittersweet for all of us who are friends of Bob because of just an acknowledgement that this is his retirement. And yet, what a great time of life for Bob to have, to look back and see all the great things that he's done for all of us that love Special Olympics, but also looking forward to the next chapter as soon as he gets done with the endowment piece anyway of his life. So we're all very excited about that. Bob and I's relationship goes back several years, in fact, almost to the time when he first moved to Great Falls to take over the helm of Special Olympics, as we met in our Leadership Great Falls program and established a friendship there which has lasted us 28 years. and I'm very appreciative of that as well. Every so often, in any organization, whether it be a not-for-profit like Special Olympics or maybe your own businesses, where there's a transformational leader that comes that we're lucky to have access to. Bob Norbie's been that for Special Olympics. He's been that transformational leader that has brought Special Olympics to greater heights, and even now, after today's discussion, we'll learn doing all that he can to get us into even greater heights. That's what Bob has been to Special Olympics, and all of us that have had the benefit of getting to know Bob, work with Bob, become friends with Bob, have benefited in the long run. So today will be a fun day. It will be somewhat similar to Bob, this is your Special Olympics life. I could be Ralph Edwards for the next hour. Of course, I'm dating myself. Many in the audience don't know who Ralph Edwards are. Many of us that are my vintage know full well who Ralph Edwards is and what this is your life was. Well, Bob, today, this will be somewhat your Special Olympics life. So it's going to be a fun hour. I'm glad you're all with us, and I think you'll enjoy the time that we'll spend together. One of the things that I think Bob would say has been a huge benefit to him in his role is getting to know others in the community and getting to establish those relationships, which all of us who know Bob realize that's Bob, establishing relationships. Well, certainly one of those relationships that he has solidified with here in Great Falls, not only as a co-worker with Special Olympics in the past, but also just as he does with so many in Great Falls and across the state of Montana, well, frankly, nationally established relationships. One of those is we're so appreciative and grateful for our own Mayor, Bob Kelly, to be part of today's discussion. And Bob is here live to greet us and provide Bob with some information that I think Bob will enjoy. So welcome, Mayor.
Rick. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. Thank you for the work you're doing on the board as well. But today really is all about Mr. Norbie. So I've got just a few comments here before I get on with an official proclamation, which I'm very excited to share with everyone here that's watching live on these media outlets. So hello everyone, fans, friends, families, and athletes. Officially, as I said, I'm here today as the Mayor of Great Falls, where we've been blessed for having the headquarters of Special Olympics Montana for decades. But I'm also here today to honor Bob from a couple different perspectives. My first involvement with Special Olympics Montana, and Bob was like many of us as a volunteer. And I think we all have our own special origin stories with Bob, but I think anyone who's done anything with Special Olympics soon finds out that you become wonderfully trapped in this web of friendship and purpose that a Special Olympic volunteer experience provides. For me, that was in the early 2000s, and like many of you, I was hooked. My next involvement with Bob in Special Olympics Montana was helping with the 40-year celebration in 2010. I saw Bob at a grocery store here in town, and I quickly tried to hide into the walk-in freezer. But Bob approached me with that half smile that he has and that telltale gleam in his eye, and the next thing I knew, for the next 4 months, I was committed to the gala. I also know Bob from a fairly unique perspective as a staff member for Special Olympics Montana. I was hired after the gala to replace a staff person who left for active duty overseas. I quickly discovered that despite my previous exposure to Special Olympic Montanas, I was really unaware of how complex the organization is, how caring the staff was, and how committed Bob and everyone here is to athletes, families, and sponsors. Yes, Bob was my boss. And like all good bosses, he was always in earliest and stayed the latest, working harder than everyone he worked with. He was a tough taskmaster, but I relished the challenges he threw down in front of me and the support he always provided. But my favorite perspective of Bob is as a friend. As you know, his relationships with all of you that are watching today are real and meaningful, and they're valued. He's even better at being a friend than he is at being a CEO, and that's really saying something. So now in my official capacity of Mayor of Great Falls, I think I can speak not only for us here in the Electric City, but I want to speak for other mayors wherever the state games have been staged. Whitefish, Bozeman, Billings, Helena, Butte, Missoula, and even the smaller communities that may only have a local team. Special Olympics Montana provides an incredibly unique, unifying force in all our communities that is so important to the identity and social fabric of generosity and common good that we all can believe in, participate in, and share the rewards of kindness, concern, and new friendships. Bob has been spearheading that effort for decades while creating just an incredible experience for the athletes. That can't be overstated. Bob has left his mark on all of us in many ways, and you're going to hear about that today. And he'll continue to do so. But today, as I read this proclamation, I know that Bob Norbie has been as important to the cities and towns of Montana as any other individual I know. Every community that Bob has touched in Montana is a better place because of it. You helped us know our better selves as a community and as a state. And for that, we're especially grateful. We really are. So, this is a proclamation that we put together for Bob on behalf of our city and community. And I know he's watching from afar, and I'm going to leave this right here on the desk. You'll get this to him. The proclamation is, whereas Bob Norbie dedicated over 26 years leading and championing the Special Olympics Montana family and all those involved with the organization, athletes, families, volunteers, and donors. And whereas Bob was not just the CEO of Special Olympics Montana, he was a road warrior across the state of Montana and not afraid to roll up his sleeves to be a driving force who got things done. Bob was an active participant in various games and hijinks and a fun maker for all athletes. Oh yeah. And where Bob was a member of other states' programs and a consultant for other Special Olympics programs, even worldwide. And this quote from Dr. Seuss personifies what Bob Norbie did for Special Olympics Montana. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Bob Norbie was the captain steering that ship. And today, while Bob retired from his role of CEO of Special Olympics Montana in June, he's continued to support the movement by raising funds for the Special Olympics Montana Endowment Campaign. Once those financial goals are achieved, there is absolutely no doubt he will still remain passionately engaged in all things Special Olympics. And we are grateful to Bob for his tireless commitment and his leadership in this most worthy movement. Bob's energy and enthusiasm will leave a lasting legacy on us all. Now, therefore, I, Bob Kelly, as mayor of the city of Great Falls, do hereby proclaim November 15th, 2020, as Bob Norbie Day in Great Falls, Montana, and we encourage citizens to extend to Bob sincere appreciation for his many years of unending dedication, service, and love of all things Special Olympics Montana. In witness whereof, I've signed it, there's a seal on it, it's official. Congratulations. I look forward to celebrating with all of you Bob Norbie Day on November 15th. Rick, thanks for having me here. Appreciate what you're doing as well. Make sure Mr. Norbie gets that. Okay?
Thank you so much, Mary Ellie. What a tribute to Bob, not only in your words, but also in the proclamation, official proclamation. I think you hit it right on the head when you talked about how Bob's affected communities and all of the things that he does. And we mentioned the relationship building that he has. And Bob's unique ability with all of the athletes, I think, that are watching today, understand that he has that unique ability to genuinely connect with them. And I think it's because Bob's a big kid. You know, he loves to participate in the activities. He loves to do all these crazy things, and yet he genuinely cares about the athletes and their improvement and all the hard work that they go into in training. He's just sincere and genuine that they respond to that.
Absolutely.
So
As we all do.
As we all do. As all of us who get to know Bob all do. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Mary.
Thanks for having me.
We do have a truth because we mentioned how important Bob is to the athletes and what he's meant to the athletes. Again, that transformational leader. that is able to connect and respond and to encourage the athletes to be better than they were before, to work harder and do all the things, and to win, and if they can't win, to be thrilled in the attempt. And that's Bob, and that's what Bob means and does for the athletes. We have a special treat, because we do have a couple of athletes that are here today to share their thoughts with all of us, and one remote. And so the first one that will be joining us remotely and sharing her thoughts on what Bob has meant to her and what Special Olympics has provided will be Betsy Schaefer. And Betsy is the 2020 Athlete of the Year. She just learned that just a few days ago. And all of us who have been able to experience and watch Betsy participate in the games over the years realize that it was only a matter of time where she was the Athlete of the Year. She just embodies enthusiasm and excitement and energy and fun. And so for us today is Betsy to share her thoughts about Bob.
Hello, Bob. I would like to extend my appreciation and best wishes on your retirement. You have been an important part of Special Olympics for so many years. It is hard to imagine Special Olympics Montana without you. Your goofy outfits and your colorful shoes have made every state games, basketball tournament, and opening ceremonies so much fun for every athlete. You leave Special Olympics in very capable hands. We love you, Bob, and enjoy all that comes with life and retirement. Oh, yeah!
Thank you very much, Betsy. Great message. Oh yeah, absolutely. The perfect ending to your message about Bob and what he's meant to you in Special Olympics. Now the treat for us today, live, right here, right now, is Josh Anderson. Josh, in his own right, a former Athlete of the Year for Special Olympics, and of course, one of our most stable and constant employees here at the office here in Great Falls. So Josh, can you share your thoughts about Bob?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be celebrating Bob Norbie's contribution to Special Olympics Montana. My name is Josh Anderson. I'm a 40-year-old Special Olympics athlete, messenger, and leader. I also work at Special Olympics Montana. I've been an athlete for nearly 20 years. We all have a different story about how we met Bob Norbie. Mine began in 2001, our very first year for my one-man team, competing at the state's Winter Games in Whitefish. I was nervous being around so many Special Olympics athletes and wasn't sure I fit in. The first day of competition was exciting, racing other skiers. On the final day, I still wasn't sure about this whole new world. However, at closing ceremonies, Bob welcomed our team to the Special Olympics family. That's when our friendship took off and our escapades began. From there, our friendship and adventures blossomed. We traveled together for Special Olympics events to Washington, D.C., cities around Montana, and even Panama. We've made some fun memories, like trying to open a fresh coconut from a palm tree with no hand tools. We've even found my extreme flight maneuvers in a sit-inside flight simulator didn't quite agree with Bob's stomach. Bob and I have fun working and playing together and teasing each other relentlessly. On a serious note, because of Bob's acceptance, his placing value on my personal worth, his challenges to stretch me in leadership roles, his belief in me, his encouragement to try new skills, his respect, and just rallying around me for who I was allowed me to trust in him and the Special Olympics mission. That's when I could confidently face and come to terms with being an intellectually disabled person. I became confident and flourished in who I am because of Bob's influence and what he has accomplished for Special Olympics. I am able to reach the world with a message that people with intellectual disabilities are significant and worthy of respect, friendships, and to celebrate their abilities. In closing, Bob, as you move into retirement soon, likely the pay didn't leave you with a zillion bucks. And who knows what a zillion bucks looks like anyways. I do. When I see each athlete out there, each one represents a zillion bucks because you make every athlete feel that way. You give them opportunity to be someone. When you have a conversation with a parent, coach, volunteer, sponsor, or donor, each one represents a zillion bucks because you generously let them know how much they are appreciated and critical to the Special Olympics mission. But you want to know what is priceless? Your respect and admiration for our Special Olympics athletes. And you want to know what's accepted everywhere? Your determined leadership, advocating and encouraging athletes to open themselves up to possibilities. Thank you, Bob, for all you've done. We need more Bobs. Be a Bob!
Thank you very much, Josh. That was outstanding. Thank you. Today we're honoring Bob, and of course the board presented him the picture that Rhonda referred to earlier, and of course we'll all hear and we'll talk about the endowment here in a little bit. But Josh and Betsy, you are walking tributes to Bob. And every athlete out there that have been exposed to Bob and have learned from Bob and been mentored by Bob and have just participated in the games that have been shaped by Bob. That's the tribute that Bob will take with him, more so than anything that we can provide. So thank you very much, Josh. Excellent, excellent. Along with Bob's effect that he's had on the athletes and the communities, as you've heard Mayor Kelly describe, those of us who have served on the board over the years have also had our lives affected by our association with Bob and the fun that we've had in our board meetings, just like you athletes have had with Bob. And yet also the challenge that he's provided to us to be better than we are and to get hold of the mission. We're really happy to have with us, although not in person. He had originally planned on being here in person to deliver his remarks, but he was unable to do so. But thankfully, he's able to call in and be with us today, and that is our past board chair, John Parks. John was a part of the movement for over 10 years, and in his own right, part of the Special Olympics of Montana Hall of Fame, class of 2015, and a great supporter of Special Olympics. So Bob, even though John can't be here in person, he wanted to call in and provide his thoughts and impressions upon you that way. So, John Parks.
Good afternoon, Bob and everyone. I'm John Parks. I'm on the board of directors, and I'm a past chair of the board, and I've been intimately involved with Special Olympics for outside of 25 years. And I just wanted to express, on behalf of the entire Board of Directors, our sincere gratitude to you, Bob, for your many, many years of steadfast dedication to the movement, your enthusiasm for the programs, but more importantly, it's your influence and the inspiration that you have on so many people, not just the athletes, but the families, the volunteers, the board, the communities as a whole. We are just so grateful for your unconditional enthusiasm, for your love of life, and your high level of character and credibility that we all admire in you so much. When I think about the endowment and where it began just a handful of years ago, and to look where it is today, it's all because of you and the vision that you had for seeing this movement see a direction forward and that will be sustainable for many, many years to come. So for that, I want to extend a huge thank you. Both Heidi and I have been very involved in making our personal contributions in the endowment. But in addition, Bob, we also want to give you a gift of recognition to the endowment in the amount of $10,000. So that's from Heidi and I. But more importantly, on behalf of the board, we give you a huge shout out for your ongoing commitment and dedication to seeing the endowment through. Thank you. We love you. God bless you. Okay, Heidi, is that a take?
That's a take. That's a wrap.
Well, Bob, the one thing you can count on with John Parks is you really can't count on anything. He is that box of chocolates that you're never sure what you're going to get. But maybe we should have expected it. But thank you so much, John. And Heidi, obviously being his able camera person. And of course, John and Heidi Parks, whenever you see them in person, they are probably the most enjoyable people because both of them have the smiles that light up a room. And so thank you very much for being with us, albeit remotely, John. Many of you know that we had planned on having this kind of event at our 50th anniversary. We had it scheduled for late September, and of course COVID put a stop to that. But we had planned on having a part of our big gala, our 50th anniversary gala, this celebration of Bob. So hopefully this will still fill the bill. We hope it does. And I'm just pleased as can be to now introduce, without further ado, really the man of the hour. The reason we're here, and that's our one and only star of the hour, Bob Norbie. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate being here, I think.
That's right after John. I don't know.
Oh, my. Well, it's, let me just start with all the athletes by saying, oh, yeah!
Oh, yeah.
Because it's pretty remarkable to hear all these words and enormously uncomfortable. I'm more accustomed to organizing and celebrating others versus being celebrated. But I do appreciate it a lot. So that said, I want to thank the organizing group here. I know many of the staff who are off camera, by the way, are behind the scenes working on this and broadcasting this today. And know that I really appreciate it considering these challenging times. But it is our 50th anniversary year. It's pretty remarkable to think where we've come since 1970 and how many lives we've impacted. And when I finally exit, as you've heard, I'll have had the privilege of stewarding the mission for over 28 years, 26 and a half of those years as CEO and these last 2 as Executive Director of the Endowment Campaign. Reflecting on my tenure, though, there are 2 overwhelming feelings that come to mind. One is love, and the other is gratitude. And I've been blessed with both over these years. I'd like to focus on gratitude for starters, and to thank the staff and the board for putting together this virtual retirement party. And as I mentioned, there's been so much change in adaptation this year because of the pandemic, and extraordinarily challenging year by any measure. Extraordinarily challenging. So all the more appreciative of what people are doing to honor me during these challenging times. I was enormously lucky to be hired in 1993 as president and CEO. As I've learned a lot during my tenure, just a lot. And the older and wiser I've become, I've learned that the life we each have that we've been given, is intended to help to make the world a better place. The life we've been given is intended to make the world a better place. And I feel privileged then to have been part of this mission for that very reason. It's made it a better place for not only our athletes, our families, our neighbors, our communities, our state, our nation, and quite frankly, I think the planet. Because we're in nearly 190 countries across the globe. But having said this, none of this I could have done alone. To serve the greater good requires lots and lots of support from volunteers, colleagues, and fans. I've had the good fortune to stand on the shoulders of these faithful mission stewards. It really is about standing on other people's shoulders. So to all of you, thanks for allowing me to stand on your shoulders. In doing that, you've lifted me up. You've enabled me to embrace our mission. You've enabled me to see down the road and determine the direction we might want to head. And in the process, we've transformed thousands and thousands of lives over the years. And more specifically, I want to target my gratitude beginning with my immediate family. They are among my biggest cheerleaders. My wife of 39 years, Mary Lou, and now my adult children, Kirsten and Eric, have always encouraged me to pursue my passion. And I've got extended family. My dad, he passed away April 7th at the age of 92. My stepmom, Arlene Norbie. My bonus mom, Jean Replinger. Any number of people have been part of this family that's enabled me to do all the things that I'd like to do. Another group I want to express gratitude for is the board and the staff in general, beginning with founder Eunice Kennedy Shriver. In 1968, that woman recognized that people have gifts to share, regardless of how big or grandiose they might be. Everyone has a gift to share, and our athletes have been models of sharing those gifts. I want to thank those who hired me. Specifically, in 1993, the chairman of the board, your counterpart there, Rick, was Nick Clattis. And the search committee chair was Jim Cack. And those two gentlemen acted on a hunch and took a chance. And here I am all these years later. I want to also acknowledge some incredible staff, the likes of whom include Judy Magruder, who's walked this walk with me for all the years that I've been here. Shortly after I came, she stepped in and assumed leadership roles in all capacities. And without her, I certainly would never have been as successful as I've been. And to other outstanding colleagues with significant tenure, I'd just like to acknowledge Vicki Dunham, Terry Sappington, Pat McCraney. All of these people have decades of history with the organization. And not just to name but a few, because there's a couple dozen staff that work with this organization today. Lastly, I just want to acknowledge Rhonda McCarty. She's now the third president CEO of the organization in our 50-year history. And I couldn't be more proud of the work that she's been doing to guide this organization through these tumultuous times. Truly a thoughtful and effective leader. Of course, there are many other shoulders that have raised me up, including thousands of incredible volunteers, coaches, competition and event organizers, local programs. Some of these giants I want to recognize, and some of them are posthumously, include my dad, Ken Norbie, who passed away, as I said, April 7th, at the age of 92. Bob Oakland and Tom Scott, who passed away in June of this year. Leslie Oakland, Joe Brinkley, Mike Roberts, and the first president and CEO, John Byers. All of those people have passed, but they all left an indelible impression and in the life of this mission. And I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge other significant influencers who have embraced our mission, kept it alive, and helped us create sustainable quality growth. These include iconic individuals, organizations, and businesses. And while I can't mention them all, obviously, I am going to mention some because they're noteworthy, and they represent everyone that's given so generously to this mission. And they include amazing stewards like the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation, Town Pump and the Kennelly family, First Interstate Bank System and the Scott family, City Motor Company, the Montana Law Enforcement Porch Firm, D.A. Davidson and the Davidson Company family, Murdoch's Ranch and Home Supply, Knights of Columbus Special K Ranch, and people like Cindy and Mike Humphrey and John and Heidi Parks, who we just heard from John, and by the way, he actually is having a birthday November 15th. So happy birthday, John. Terry Sifty, Beth and Haynes McFadden, Ryan Northrop, Steve Brookstein, Jim and Joanne Catt, Christian and John McKenna family. I could go on and on and on. It's truly remarkable. And some of the early pioneers of our organization, like Bob Williamson, Jodelle Petroni, Pat Lee, not to forget to mention the Grant Lincoln family and the Jack Levin family, people who've been around for a long, long time and given generously. Suffice it to say, there are thousands more like those I've mentioned who have allowed me to stand on their shoulders to help champion our mission. I feel enormously privileged. Lastly, and most importantly, though, I want to express my profound appreciation to those that have showered me with their love and lifted me up to be a successful steward of our mission. And that, as you know, would be our athletes, my heroes. Oh, yeah! In those early years, athletes like Lisa Holland, Julie Bertelson, Carrie Sheets, Leif Babcock, and Ronnie Dale opened my eyes to what is possible and what we can accomplish when we extend a helping hand and lift each other up. Over the years, other athletes like Chrissy Sifke, Josh Anderson, Betsy Schaefer, who's just spoke a while ago, Keo Duffy, Anton Vaverka, Keely Wilson, Nick Roberts, Rochelle Tyven, Kyla Morrison, Brett Beavens. There are 3,500 other athletes, and this year alone that I could name, who are but just a few of the many thousands of the athletes I come to know and respect, and how they have modeled for me to live a purposeful and joyful life. As I've often said, athletes are masterful teachers if you pause long enough to listen. And boy, have I learned a lot by listening to our athletes. I've learned that athletes don't see imperfections. Athletes do not see imperfections. They only see possibilities. They understand that together we win. It isn't just about me, it's about us. It's about community. And they understand that together we win. And of course, all this gratitude I'm feeling is cradled in this vessel I'll call love, also known as athletes. Because our athletes radiate lots of love. Our athletes have been a beacon of hope, and they have modeled unconditional love that translates into acceptance, respect, inclusion, and grace. They live by the golden rule, too. You know, that golden rule, do unto others as you have them do unto you. They model that every day and inspire me to do the same. They've taught me how to be good. They've taught me how to do good. And they've taught me how to never give up. So, to wrap up my remarks, my challenge to all of us as we look to the future is to give our personal best, just as our athletes do each and every day. Live a life bigger than yourself. I invite you to live a life bigger than yourself. Unite around our mission of service. Find purpose in however you define it. Be in service to others. While not always easy, behind every success, you will find effort. And behind every effort, you will find passion. And behind every passion, you will find the courage to try. And behind every try, you will find the Special Olympics champions, our athletes, cheering you on. So, as you imagine the future of this organization in the next 50 years, along with all the challenges and doubts that come with that, just recite the athlete oath. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be greater than you can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Excellent comments. Excellent comments. The thing that sticks out most for me, I think, of all that, which is just unbelievable, was when you mentioned all the great athletes over the years, and then you mentioned, I think that's you. You could name 3,500 athletes that are all participating.
Pretty close.
All the people that are watching today, Bob could name you, and that's you. That's the legacy of you. We talked about what you've meant, certainly to the athletes, and of course we had Betsy and Josh provide their commentary. And we talked about what you've meant really to the board, and John Parks was our spokesperson for what you meant to the board. Mayor Kelly alluded to it earlier in his comments about what you meant stable, and to the communities that you brought the games to, and how we've all benefited. But when you think about the impact that you've had in the state of Montana, and how you brought athletes together and unified them together because of the games that we've drawn, how you've unified our intellectually disabled athletes along with other athletes in unified games, how you brought them together, I think is you've built, because of our efforts with Special Olympics and what you've done, you've raised up the spirit of inclusiveness and acceptance for all individuals with intellectual disabilities, even those that aren't in the games. And that's quite a legacy of the set. We're very pleased and honored to have with us, well, we can't be here in person, but he's calling in as well to provide some comments. The governor of our state, Governor Steve Bullock, has provided some comments, and we'd like to share those with you now, Bob.
Hey there, Governor Steve Bullock here, and it's my honor to wish Bob a well-deserved and fantastic retirement. Bob, you started as the CEO of Special Olympics quite a while ago, in March 1993, when it served about 1,200 athletes, and that number is now almost tripled to an impressive 3,000 athletes. And I know that they've so benefited, not just from the program, but from your dedication and your love personally. Your hard work running the Chevy raffle and bolstering the endowment means that athletes will be able to experience that joy of victory on the field and make lasting friendships for years to come. And I think your devotion to the program doesn't of the endowment. Bob, I think over my 12 years in public service, both working with the torch run as Attorney General and as the Honorary Games co-chair, you've been such a powerful force, not just to the athletes, not just to the greater community that cares so much about Special Olympics, but for me as well. So know as you retire that you've impacted lives all across the state, and Montana is a better place because of your service. Thanks so much, Bob.
Thank you very much, Governor Bullock. It's been an honor for you to join us today, and thank you for taking time out to honor Bob, as we all are. And we know that he's meant so much to the state, but I think of your comments, and the thing, again, that sticks out to me is when you say what he's meant to you personally. And again, that's Bob, relationship building. So not only what he provides to all of us from a statewide perspective, but also what he touches each of us personally. So I appreciate your comments and understand the sentiment as well. Now, Bob, you've often talked to us about how we all receive much more back when we give. And of course, all of us who have either been board members or volunteers or coaches would all attest to that. But we also know that there's other ways to receive by giving. And of course, that's a big part of what we want to talk about a little bit today. And what we hope to have inspired some folks to help us with the endowment campaign. This is your brainchild, something that will benefit us not only today, but many, many years in the future. And as Jim Foley would say, who's the chairman of the Executive Leadership Council of the endowment, and will indicate how to give to the endowment with either the phone number or the website. As he would often say, is that not only are we planting the seed now, but it will be for a forest that will provide food forever. And so can you talk a little bit about that and your vision with the endowment?
Well, you know, all organizations seem to struggle to fundraise from year to year, and oftentimes fundraising becomes a priority versus the program they're trying to deliver, the mission they're trying to deliver. And it's important for an organization like us to care for its mission in perpetuity and to allow us to put as great an emphasis on program service versus fundraising. And one way to do that, among other ways, is to build a robust endowment. And so nearly 5 years ago, in the start of 2016, the board approved this whole notion of building a $10 million endowment. We're calling it endowment, Reveal the Champion in All of Us, $10 million endowment. Over the last 4.5+ years now, we've raised a little over $5.5 million. And so I'm hopeful that before I conclude my tenure with the organization, June 30th, 2021, we'll get to the rest of the distance on this and have our $10 million and provide earnings from that corpus to the field so that they can recruit and train more athletes in sports and provide more health and education opportunities. There are countless athletes in this state that are still sitting on the sidelines waiting for a chance to participate in the game of life, let alone sports. Many people with intellectual differences are struggling to fit in, to find a place they can call home. They're marginalized, they're ostracized, and by providing a robust endowment, you can care for opportunities into the future for generations to come.
That's outstanding. I know Jim Foley wanted to be here today, and he's able to be here in person. But Jim has provided information to us about how personal the endowment campaign is to him. And not only that, he and his wife and their family who have participated in the games, and Jim, of course, our very capable co-director of the State Summer Games when he was in Missoula from 2015 to 2017, which really, as he would relay the story to us, inspired him to become involved in the endowment. Again, got the Bob Norbie fever, right? And so he was trapped, he was caught by Bob Norbie. And so if Jim were here, he would talk about the benefits of the endowment and how important it is, and frankly, not only talking the talk but walking the walk, because we're so appreciative of Jim and Julie Foley's contribution to the endowment, of which they've contributed already. But as of today, contributed another $100,000 to the endowment.
Yes, and magnificent. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Julie. I know that they're making that donation in memory of Julie's twin sister, who had intellectual differences. She passed away a couple of years ago. They're making that donation not only in honor of me, but I know in memory of Julie's sister, Jackie. So thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Very personal. Also, someone who would want to be here but wasn't able to be in person, but wants to come and provide commentary. It's Craig Bowl. And so, if we could just have him send his message to you. Craig, longtime board member, past board member, but also has personal connection to the mission. So, Craig, please share your thoughts.
Jim, this is Craig and Kathy Balmy from Kalispell. Our son Kevin was a Special Olympic athlete for 23 years before he passed away in 2009. Special Olympics had a profound impact on Kevin and our whole family. While we were Kevin's biggest fans, I had the good fortune to also serve on the state board of directors, and we have all volunteered for local, area, and state games. Kevin's grandmother, Carol Balmy, was a big fan too. She recently passed away at the ripe old age of 95 years and left instructions in her estate to share some of her assets with Special Olympics Montana. Encouraged by your remarks, Jim, we'd like to take this moment to announce that we are giving Special Olympics Montana $25,000 in memory of Carol and Kevin, and in honor of Bob's tenure. Additionally, the Balmy family, along with friends Mick and Kim Blodnick and Frank and Peg Gebhardt, have been contributing to an investment account intended for Special Olympics. It is our intention to work towards donating that sum of money also to the endowment. It's currently valued at nearly $180,000. So we believe that Not only are annual donations important and necessary for the ongoing operations of Special Olympics, but the endowment will ensure its future forever. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much, Craig. What an extraordinary gift. Again, honoring the legacy of Bob, but also the legacy of your family. And so thank you very much for doing that. We certainly appreciate that. Also, again, in the walk of this is your Special Olympics life, Bob Norbie is another individual who would like to have been here but was unable to, but is calling in. And that's our Attorney General, Tim Fox. And I think you'll like the message.
Hello, my friends. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox here, joining with you all to celebrate our friend Bob Norbie and all he's done for the Special Olympics inclusion revolution here in Montana and all across the world. For many of us, Bob, our love of Special Olympics, the law enforcement torch run, the athletes and their families is due in large degree to your great passion for serving others. What you have accomplished over your many years of dedicated work is nothing short of extraordinary. I know that I join all your friends here in Montana and all across the world in saying how grateful we are for who you are. I love Special Olympics because of people like you, Bob, and all those others who make Special Olympics so wonderful. At no other place and with no other people do I feel so much love and so much acceptance as I do with the athletes, families, volunteers, and staff of Special Olympics Montana. And that's what it's all about, right? Love and acceptance. No one does that better than you, Bob, and we love you for it. In your honor, Bob, and because of my love of Special Olympics, I decided to ask the donors and supporters in my unsuccessful bid to be Montana's governor to allow me to give their excess campaign donations to Special Olympics of Montana. I'm pleased to note that as of today, my campaign donors have agreed to transfer over $42,000 of their money to Special Olympics of Montana. And I'm not done yet, because there's another $92,000 in donations that have yet to be committed. As we all know, this couldn't come at a better time because of the difficulty in raising money during a pandemic. That's why I'm inviting all of you to go online now to SOMT.org to make a one-time gift or a pledge paid over a period of time. There are so many athletes waiting to experience the love and acceptance and the great competition of Special Olympics. So let's make it happen for them, just as Bob has made it happen for so many thousands of Montanans over the years. We do this for them, and in doing so, we honor you, Bob, and all you have done for us. God bless you, Bob, and best wishes in your new endeavors. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you very much, Attorney General Fox. What a message, and how, I think, uncommon and unprecedented it is for a political candidate to seek out thoughts from their donors to provide leftover campaign funds to a charity. Unbelievable, and thank you very much.
I might add that with Tim Fox here, we've had a fun time together over the years. You know, as Montana's chief law enforcement officer. He rallies all of the state together. But he's done even much more. He's rallied attorney generals across the entire United States through the National Association of Attorney Generals. And of course, he can be as playful as anyone. Not too many years ago, he and I rappelled down the First Interstate Bank Tower in Billings, a 20-story building, together to raise money for this campaign called Over the Edge. And so Tim, thank you very much. And to the Bowleys, I just want to say thank you very much. Inspired by their son Kevin, who passed away some years back, all of the Bowleys have been faithful stewards of our mission. So thank you, Craig and Kathy, as well.
You know, interesting comments from Attorney General Fox that I keyed in on is the inclusion revolution, and how fitting, and that's what Special Olympics does. And of course, under your leadership, Bob, is brings people together, inclusiveness. And so you have Democrat Governor Volt, you have Republican Attorney General Fox, you have Bobcats and Grizzlies, you have Diggers and Saints. Special Olympics brings everybody together, and that is truly the inclusion revolution. Of course, throughout today, we've hoped that you've had opportunities to call in and know that you can join in our movement for the endowment, and again, receive back more than you could ever certainly give. And over this last hour, we have had some folks that have called in and made some contributions. And in fact, Bob, you should know that in addition to Jim and Julie Foley's very generous gift, John and Heidi Parks called in and of course contributed $10,000 towards the endowment. And we have Ashley and Richie Whitney who have contributed $20,000. And before I ask for commentary, Cooper Thomas also $20,000, $10,000 personally and $10,000 through City Toyota. So can you talk a little bit about both Ashley and Cooper?
Well, Ashley Whitney and Cooper Thomas are grandchildren to Bob Oakland, who passed away in June at the age of 94, as I recollect. And Bob is iconic. He and his entire family, who owned a car dealership here, City Motor Company, have been faithful stewards of our mission since 1974, I believe, when their daughter Leslie Oakland began volunteering. And of course, as she grew up, got more and more involved and was in fact on our state board of directors, was board chair. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple of years ago. Bob Oakland passed away in June, as I mentioned, but it's noteworthy that in addition to Bob's and his wife Gladys's grandchildren making these donations, Bob and Gladys actually made a $500,000 donation to the campaign a couple of years ago. So the Oakland family, as represented by Ashley and Cooper, along with all the good folks at City Motor Company, are another example of just amazing people who care deeply for the mission.
Well, and not only by what they give, as we just described monetarily, Cooper being part of our executive leadership council, or the endowment, so involved. Ashley being on our board and a main player in our development committee. So the legacy continues for the Oakland strength. So, well, I think that will bring us about to a close. Hopefully, all of you have had a chance to at least enjoy Bob, help us celebrate with Bob his retirement and all that he's meant for Special Olympics of Montana. Hopefully, you've also been able to write down the phone numbers of where to either call in a pledge to our endowment or at least go on to SOMT.org and make a pledge, because we really, again, if we can build that endowment, again, that plants a seed that will feed us and our athletes across the state of Montana for many, many years to come. And so, Bob, I would throw to you to any closing comments.
Well, large or small, whatever gifts you care to make to the endowment is appreciated. Give until it feels good. And, aside from that, I just want to tell you how much I love the mission, and I love all the stewards of this mission, and how much I love the athletes, because I've received that love millions of times over, a zillion times over, to use Josh Anderson's words.
Right.
And what a privilege and unique opportunity it has been to serve this organization with the likes of people like you all across the state. So God bless to everybody, and thank you very, very much for the opportunity to serve Special Olympics Montana.
Thank you, Bob, and thank all of you. And,
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!